What knowledge might save your life one day? Part 2. If you've been buried alive in a standard coffin, stay calm. If you are alive, you haven't been buried that long. Also, the dirt above you hasn't set yet. Most coffins are not built to last once buried and as a result of weak siding. So here is what you do. Pull your shirt over your head. You don't want to be swallowing dirt. Position yourself so you are as sideways in the coffin as possible with hands and feet pushing on the long sides. Push. You should be able to blow out one of the walls. Start crawling up. Do not panic. You may not find a grip immediately. Keep going until you make it out. Always leave your itinerary with someone. If you meet strangers, i.e., potential bad people, on the road, always let them know that you are in touch with friends and family and that they know exactly where you are. You become less attractive as a victim. Always let strangers know that you have a destination and are expected at a particular time, too. Know how to spot a stroke. An easy way to remember is the acronym FAST. Face, is one side of your face droopy? Can you fully smile? Arms, can you hold your arms out straight? Speech, are you unintentionally slurring your words? Time, call an ambulance right away. Time is of the essence. There's a few things I should add to this, based on what some others in the medical profession have said below. The acronym is now BFAST. It is adding balance and eyes. Also, in regards to time, call 911 immediately, but also try to find out when the symptoms started. If they just started, make note of the time, otherwise try and find out from people who were around. Finally, you do not have to have all of the above symptoms in order to be having a stroke. One or fewer is possible as well. BFAST is just a good acronym that is easy for the public to remember. If you're unsure about the movement of a tornado, put a straight object such as a tree or a street light in between you and the tornado. It'll make it way easier to see which way the tornado is moving. If the tornado appears to not be moving, it's coming right at you. Usually the only reference you will have is the width. If it doesn't appear to be moving but is getting wider, it's coming towards you. At which point you want to move perpendicular to its movement. In my experience, the easiest way to check if the tornado is getting wider is using an object such as a light post. If you have to get out of a moving car, then put one foot down and take a step. Don't just jump out. This will reduce your speed immensely. Sure, you will fall over, but at a much reduced speed. A stuntman told me this. I had to leave a moving car that was going about 40 miles per hour. I was pregnant. I had a medium-sized person to pillow. The man driving the car had said he was going to kill us both if he couldn't have me and was going in and out of oncoming traffic. I grabbed my bag and pillow and held the pillow across my stomach and opened the door and thought, if I go like a rag doll except my arm holding my stomach and my other arm with my purse covered my face, but everything else I tried to relax, I stepped out and let myself fall and roll. It was amazing. I ended up with just a handful of bruises and scrapes and I was fine. And my daughter is 14 now. We made it. I read this possibly on another thread or even on this one. If you smell something close to fish or even urine, it's possible you may have an electrical fire. Electrical fires tend to smell like fish and, when exposed to high heat, urine. Or maybe your cat had a snack and decided to pee on the carpet. And if you smell rotten eggs, it's natural gas. Get out immediately and call 911. What won't kill you in Australia? The wildlife. What will kill you? Getting lost in the outback. If you're lost and out of fuel, stay with your vehicle. Move as little as possible during the day and stay in the shade. Conserve water. Rip off wing mirrors to shine at any search planes. You can drink your urine approx 1 to 3 times before your kidneys start to pack it in. This is absolute last resort. EMT here. If you're ever choking on food in a public venue, do not go to the restroom to avoid causing a scene. Almost every death I've seen from people choking are found unconscious in a bathroom stall because they were too polite to seek help. I started choking on a piece of steak at my wedding reception and yup, I ran to the bathroom. Thankfully a bride standing up and running causes a scene, so my new husband, maid of honor, and coordinator followed me in and one quick thrust and I was good. If you're alone and start choking with nobody around to give you the Heimlich, you can give yourself the Heimlich by using the back of a chair, or similar objects like the side arm of a couch or whatever. Forcefully throw your stomach over the back of the chair a few times, try to mimic the motion of the Heimlich, push in above the belly button, then up. Kind of like a J motion. If there aren't chairs around, make a fist, cover it with the other hand, place that at the bottom of your chest and fall on it. It will hurt, but that's what you get for eating at a place with no chairs or people, you damn savage. The last time this was asked I actually read something that later, at the very least, saved my ass. Don't try to put out a grease fire with water. You must smother it. My GF recently had a small grease fire in the kitchen. She called me because she knew not to use water but didn't know what would work. I buy things in bulk and am super glad the huge ass kosher salt was nearby. Salt works great in a pinch, but I got an ABC extinguisher later that day. Salt is a good extinguisher for small grease fires. If you fall into cold open water, resist the urge to swim and try to float until the onset of panic subsides. Once you have your breathing under control, you can then start to swim to safety. By doing this you will not hyperventilate and avoid potentially drowning. It seems to me that from the moment you enter the water you're on a timer until you get hypothermia and your limbs start going numb. You might not have the time to wait around. Obviously it's good to control your panic, but similarly if you're panicked you're probably not going to remember to do this. So if you're calm enough to lay still in the water you're probably calm enough to start swimming towards shore. I'd say the real tip is to not try and swim or float by thrashing your limbs. Try to keep your movements calm and even. It's not as hard as you might think to stay afloat in the water. Smoothly and determinedly move to get out of the water, and try to pay attention to whether anyone is trying to rescue you and cooperate with them. Contrary to common myth, you can file a missing persons report before 24 hours have passed. Putting it off a day because they went missing that night could very easily be the difference between them being found or not. If your car is going underwater, an electronic roll-down button will work regardless of the water pressure outside the car, but a manual handle is much more difficult. You also won't be able to open the door. It's better to have something in the glove box, like an ice scraper, to break the glass with. Mythbusters did a whole thing on it. That episode saved a woman's life. She wrote to them to tell them and Adam Savage cried knowing he'd helped to save a life. When you go into a building, look for an exit that is not the one you used to come in. In an emergency most people will head out their original exit, but you will head out of the exit less traveled, and it may make all the difference. This happened at the Great White Show. People got wedged in the exit they entered through. Meanwhile other people just easily walked out the other exits. If you are in danger or in need of help, in a public place, it's almost always a bad idea to just yell help. It's more important to be specific. Pointing at someone and telling them to call 911 will be more effective. The bystander effect can be a real bitch sometimes. I tell my kids to break windows if someone is attacking them or the like. Yelling help may not get cops, breaking windows will. I'll gladly pay for windows to keep my kids safe. I can't replace my kids. If you're being followed, quickly try and hug someone nearby and whisper in their ear the situation quickly. Most people will just pretend to know you to keep you safe. Most girls do this, and I've luckily only had to do this once. I always say, "Hey, So good to see you again. Didn't expect to see you again. And then go in for a hug and say someone is following me, please pretend you know me. I once was walking home at night and this guy was following me. He kept yelling things at me, I will make you regret ignoring me, and I saw a house with party lights on and a bit of music coming from it. I just turned and rang the doorbell and the guy that was following me stood still. It was 2 in the morning, and I had no clue who these people were, but I just said, hey, I'm here for the party. Could I please come in? They let me in all confused, but after my explanation 3 people offered to walk me home. Later that week a girl was groped and called the police and the guy was arrested for apparently 5 counts of sexual assault.